in the behalf of the group 610 section B and the teacher Juana de Dios Avila Carrillo, we give the welcome to all of you. Today we want to share with you our final project, The Art of Loving. The objective of this research is to gather with all of you most of our experience that we have had during this extraordinary year, where we become much more stronger, wisdom, and we have learned to give support each other and at the same time independence. Welcome, Mrs. Director of Prepa number 5, authorities, teachers, friends, and all of people who joined to this lecture today. Welcome and let's start.
First off, we have Erich Fromm. Erich Fromm was a German social psychologist and psychoanalyst who was associated with the Frankfurt School of Theoretical School. He was known for developing the concept that freedom was a fundamental part of the human. He also believed that love is an act of will. It's a decision to love, care, take responsibility, respect, and know a person. It is inseparable from this idea of freedom, which implies being able to obey reasons and knowledge, and not irrational patience. Love also is the key to opening the doors to the growth of a man. It allows you to establish a relationship with others. For Fromm, the experience of love is the most human and humanizing act.
The Art of Loving by Erich Fromm is a book that mainly highlights 5 ideas. 1. Love is an art, but few people see it in this way. 2. Love is an act of giving, but it may be unconditional or conditional. 3. There are other types of love, like brotherly love, erotic love, fraternal love, subsidiary love, and many others. 4. Modern capitalism turns our loving relationships into profitable exchanges. 5. There are three principles at the heart of loving: discipline, concentration, and patience. The principal message that the book gives us is that love isn't just something that we receive, it's something that we actively give to. To love well, we must deepen our understanding of the different forms of love and stay aware of consumerist forms of pseudo love that threaten our relationships. By treating love with dedication, discipline, we can strengthen our relationships with children, friends, lovers, and also strangers.
I'm going to share some information about Sigmund Freud, his paradox of love, and the Oedipus complex. First, we should know Freud's love definition. To him, the coexistence between human beings has two fundamentals. One is the incitement of the male from his surrounding environment to work, and the other is that man doesn't want to be without a woman as a sexual object, as well as the woman's refusal to distance herself from the child. Freud took the expression libido with the intention of representing love only as means whose goal as sexual union, but poets commonly call and think more literary than social expression. Oedipus complex. Freud affirms that male children experience sexual desires towards their mothers and see their fathers as rivals, a process that results in the Oedipus complex. Later, children identify with their fathers and repress their feelings towards the mothers to leave this phase behind. The correct assimilation of this stage results in the maturity of the sexual identity. This part of the process is known as the castration. The concept of the Oedipus complex only refers to boys. In girls, it's called the Electra complex.
Currently, I am about to talk about hypersexualization. That is currently a society life with the constant reference of an aesthetic ideal and is not aware of the scope and nature of this refined culture for women themselves and future generations. The media helps to promote that social success is found in the magic that project. They offer what the public wants, but in reality, they show why they want and make people believe what they want. While girls feel special posing as adult models and highlighting their beauty as an object of desire, teenagers do not feel good about their bodies. And due to a permanent imposition of increasingly demanding and illusory images, that lead to false expectations and frustrations. Through communications, present of compilations of different studies that have been carried out during the years 2011 to 2017, approximately, to evaluate how media through a specific beauty canon influence the attitudes, perceptions, and behaviors of increasingly younger female audience.
Hypersexualization of young girls, also known as sexualization, early sexualization, or precocious sexualization, is a hotly debated topic lately. Hypersexualization of girls can refer of girls being depicted as treated as sexual objects. It also means sexuality that is inappropriately imposed on girls through media, marketing, or products directed at them that encourage them to act in adult sex ways. Examples are thongs marketed to 6 years old girls, ads to young girls in sexy poses, and girls dressing up and dancing fun styles to their favorite pop stars, very adult lyrics. A brief search of hypersexualization on the web offers up many more.
The impact that hypersexualization has on society mainly affects girls and boys as well as and young people. Through hypersexualization, beauty standards are given that can hardly be met. This can cause low self-esteem as well as insecurities regarding your physique. Although the main problem is the loss of the childhood, because from an early age, they seek to imitate or achieve the established beauty standards are, and not to enjoy their childhood. It can also lead to eating disorders such as anorexia and bulimia when trying to meet these standards. And in addition to supporting gender stereotypes, which indirectly promote sexism and gender violence.
Edoisms consider pleasure as only and supreme good of human existence, so that satisfaction becomes the only end and foundation of life. Edoism is often confused with the purism of purity physical pleasures, which is only one aspect of what is the value by this doctrine. It is a physiological and moral doctrine that understands pleasure and its supreme and unique value of human existence. Such a pleasure, however, is not necessarily understood as a physical or sexual pleasure, but also involves pleasure. It is a spirit or the very absence of suffering. It is generally an individualistic of a thinking contrary to social welfare doctrine and utilitarianism, and also to moral doctrines like most religions. Most Edoisms try to pleasure and suffering, and if they were variants hot and cold, and there is gradually medially biased.
As we could see, we are talking about a social movement. That's why it has its main representatives, which are Artisippus or Artisipo. He was a Greek philosopher born in the Greek city of Cyrene, founder of the Cyrenaic hedonism. He was branded as the effeminate because he lived surrounded by luxury and accepted every comfort that was offered to him. Epicurus. He was a Greek philosopher founder of the rational hedonism. His doctrine was really influenced by works of some philosophers such as Democritus and Cynics. John Wilmot, second Earl of Rochester, he was the author of Libertine Poetic Work. And finally, Marquis de Sade. He was a French philosopher and writer whose fictional work stares anti-heroes, rapists, and promiscuous, as well as virginal girls who renounced to the chastity more or less voluntarily. His work was persecuted by the Catholic Church, and Marcus sentenced to jail and asylum for 27 of his life years.
Types of hedonims. Normative hedonims. It's the idea that the pleasure should be the main motivation of people. Egoism hedonims. People consider their own pleasure when making decisions. Motivational hedonims.
It states that our behavior is determined by the desires to increase pleasure and decrease pain. Altruistic hedonims. We must act in the way that produces the greatest good and not just the greatest pleasure. Hedonims prudential. Pleasure predominates over pain. Folk hedonims. It's a rough combination of motivational hedonims, egoism, and reckless lack of foresight. Utilitarianism hedonims. It assigns no intrinsic moral value to justice, friendship, truth, or any of the many other goods that are thought by some to be reducibly valuable.
Lessons of Love by Friedrich Nietzsche, who deconstructed Christianity, who denied everything, a philosopher, in short. Nietzsche thought of love as a matter of utmost importance. This love reflected a complete equality between the lovers without any kind of hierarchy between them. Love desires, fear avoid. This is why you cannot be loved and respected by the same person at the same time, at least at the same time. For he who respects recognized power, that is, he fears. His state is a respectful fear, but love doesn't not recognize any power, nothing that separates, that distinguishes, that establishes superiority and inferiority of a rank. For the German philosopher, it was of utmost importance to understand that in love, even if you suffer, you must try.
Okay, we will talk about how to build a relationship. First of all, we need to know that humans are social per nature, so in our daily life, we have different types of relations depending on what people are involved. An interpersonal relationship refers to the association, connection, interaction, and bond between two or more people. Our family or relative are people we are connected through some form of kinship, whether it's through blood, such as with parents, brothers, and sisters, marriage, such as non-blood aunts and uncles or stepfathers and stepmothers, romantic relationships with our family, such as parents' girlfriend or boyfriend, or adoption. A romantic relationship is one which you feel very strongly attracted to the other person, both to their personality and often also physical. This is reciprocated by the other person in the relationship. A romantic relationship could be different depending the time and level of formalization, an engagement and the moment spouse in a marriage, or life partners in a civil partnership or long-term unmarried relationship. Friends are people who we are not related to but just to interact with. There are very varying degrees of friendship. Also, some people have many friends, while others may only have one or two. There is no right or wrong number of friends to have, and everyone is different.
After looking at the type of relationship, here are the keys to the healthy and kind relationship. Mainly, people look at romantic relationships, so let's see how to bet and loving relationship. We must know that we must be at ease with ourselves in order to give the best to our partner and that our partner also gives us the best. Dialogue, independence of freedom, life projects, and blame to relationship.
Okay, well, as we mentioned, we have other type of relationship, and although these are very similar to the basic of love relationships, Viridiana and I will talk a little more in depth about what each of these requires to build a relationship. Well, I will start talking about the familiar relationship. This one requires several factors, such as mutual appreciation, Well, because valuing others is the heart of good family relationship, as well as recognizing each other's difference, talents, and abilities, and using each other's strengths, doing activities together, or showing interest in each other, dedicating quality time to our family. Another fundamental is to have realistic expectations. Science acceptance is the first principle to build healthy relationships based on respect, and the last one is to have flexibility, because relationships involve as do the people integrate them.
And finally, we have the relationship of friendship. The construction of this requires a lot of things, such like learning to listen, having physical and verbal respect, respecting their space, being comprehensive when they need, being generous, as well as honestly and loyally.
How to destroy a relationship? People usually do not want to destroy their relationships. However, as we have already seen ways to build relationships, there are also subtle ways to destroy them. Some of the things that can contribute to destroy a relationship are complaints or public humiliation towards the other person, turning everything into a competition and telling lies and breaking promises. This makes that all the confidence they have towards the other person get weak and may destroy the relation.
We also need to remember that a relationship must be constantly nurtured. Even if you believe that everything flows normally, it is about growing, maturing, and evolving together, which is achieved with a lot of communication, respect, and honesty. What bothers me most is not that you lied to me, but that from now on I won't be able to believe in you. And it is not lack of love, but lack of friendship that makes marriages unhappy.
Okay, how I will build my personal relationship. Through what we have learned on all the topics that we have mentioned, I have realized that a good relationship is on where my happiness and the happiness of my partner are never lost to any problems that arise in the future. I, to be someone that he does not limit me intellectual, that he supports me and comforts when I need it, that we have similar purpose in the future to be able to complement each other plans, to be able to grow together with my experience, not with my partner, contribute with what we have to learn separately and learn together from a new experience, and always have a good communication between us. A relationship where both my partner and I build the love that we have for each other day by day. And for this, we both have to give effort and time to be able to archive it, work together and be complete by completing ourselves, begin aware that our relationship is a commitment in which we will have to work every day without exception, because we are not disposable, we are not for a little will. We are people with value, and we are together it because we decide to do it.
Based on what I am going to build my relationship on. To form a relationship, you must first love yourself and have the ability to be alone, so as not to depend on another person. You should also know that love requires effort, knowledge, and learning from the person, knowing their flaws and accepting them. But it's not a justification for abuse, insult, or violence of anyone. Then we will build our relationship on the basis of respect, trust, independence, honesty, and desire to have a major and nothing major love. That is, I need you because I love you, but it is not I love you because I need you. In addition, it is important to mention that when we talk about independence, we also mean giving space to other person to allow him to grow. And remember that it's okay to say, I no longer want this relationship or that I don't feel good with the person. No one can force you to be with another, nor can they force you to do anything.
Until with nature, to be independent is a thing of a small minority. It is a privilege of the strong. I need companions, by living companions, not that and comforts that I have to carry on my back wherever I go. In love there is always some madness, but in madness there is always some reason.
To finally conclude, as we have seen, love is not simply something for couples. There's self-love, family love, and many types of love. Whatever type of love is, all of them require the same thing. It implies happiness, but it can also cause pain, and each person has a different experience of love. Love is an unpredictable thing that requires communication, discipline, and trust in your partner, and sounds simple, but it's not, because you need to stop thinking about what we are going to offer and what are we going to lose, and you need to start thinking what I'm going to offer to your partner, and see you have a picture of how it would look like. And finally, it's important to say that people are not disposable. You cannot use a person and then throw if she or he away as their garbage. This is what we refer when divorce is becoming more and more common. We do not want to say that one should we're out to maintain all your relationships, but the ones that are important to you, and let's try to solve it before giving up. If a relationship is toxic and hurts you, of course you know to how live, but in time.
I'm going to share some congratulations. My dear college, together we have lived many good and bad moments, but despite everything, we are still there, giving the best of each with ethics, honesty, and above all, with love for what we do. Enjoying sweet and bitter moments, to join forces and be better. Thank you for supporting me every day. I hope they continue to grow, that they continue to love, that they do. The possible only then can we obtain the best result as a team. I express my feelings of joy for being part of my professional life. Dear teacher, I thank you for this incredible year. I learned a lot from what you taught us, but I also learned from your tenacity to make me see that character shapes the human being. Thank you very much for helping us in this step learning process, and for making us reflect at the appropriate moments, for encouraging us to improve our weak points. We will always admire you for work every day as you feel with patience and love by explaining your lessons. Each class we saw your dedication, and we will always be grateful. Despite of the pandemic, we enjoy the classes and we learn as we were in a classroom. Thank you for making it easier. You teacher gave us the best teaching. We could understand that a lesson learned with confidence is worth more than learn just to pass an exam. Thank you.